All right, let's jump right in with an idea that's, well, it's pretty out there. We're all used to thinking about the economy in terms of things like value, choice, information. But what if all of that is just a story we tell ourselves? What if the economy is really just a colossal, physical machine, and it's run not by human decisions, but by the cold, hard laws of physics?
I mean, really think about that for a second. What if value, choice, and information aren't real things? Imagine you could just strip away all those abstract ideas we use, supply and demand, consumer confidence, all of it. Just peel it all back. What would you even have left? Well, according to this theory, you'd be left with the only things that were ever actually there in the first place.
And that's where this idea, Physicalist Economics, comes in. The core idea is kind of breathtaking in its simplicity. The economy is just matter doing stuff in space and time. That's it. Full stop. Matter, force, and space-time. With just those three things, you can supposedly describe the entire shebang, from mining iron ore to swiping a credit card.
Okay, so to really get our heads around this, we have to kind of tear down the way we normally think. We need to deconstruct the old model and try to see the world as a place of pure physics, an economy with no concept of value at all.
So what does economic activity even mean in this world? Well, it's just stuff happening to other stuff. It's these physical events you see here. Think about it. Building a house is just moving matter around and getting it to stick together. Frying an egg, that's a phase in structural change caused by heat. Even you watching this right now is just forces propagating through media. Words like production and consumption, they're just convenient shorthand we use for these incredibly complex chains of physical events.
And this is where it gets really trippy, especially with the idea of value. A bar of gold isn't valuable because we all agree it is. Instead, value is just our label for what's physically possible. The laws of physics allow for the chain of events that creates a gold bar. They don't allow for the chain of events that turns lead into gold. So value doesn't cause anything to happen, it's just a description of what can happen. All right, so if we're tossing out our old ideas about value, what happens to the big three pillars of any economy? Labor, money, and technology. Let's put them under this physicalist microscope and see what they really are.
Let's start with labor. We think of it in terms of skill, or effort, or hours worked, but the physicalist view is way more direct. Labor is just force. It's the measurable physical output of chemical reactions firing in your muscles, making them contract and move something. Even a decision to work is just an electrochemical signal in your brain that ends with a physical force being applied to the world.
And what about money? It's not a symbol of value. It's not a social contract. In this view, money is just a physical trigger. It's a specific arrangement of matter, a metal coin, an entry in a database that is incredibly good at making other matter, usually us humans, perform a physical action. It makes a hand reach out, it makes a body move. If a pile of cash fails to make someone do something, well, then it's just a pile of useless paper and ink.
Same goes for technology. It isn't an idea or some abstract knowledge. It's a physical thing, an actual material structure. A lever is just a chunk of matter arranged to multiply force. A computer chip is an incredibly complex arrangement of silicon designed to channel electrical forces down specific paths. All technology, from a flint knife to a quantum computer, is just matter, arranged to control force.
Okay, so we've taken everything apart and redefined our pieces. Now let's put it all back together. What kind of a system do we get? The answer is a machine. And not just any machine, a completely, totally deterministic one.
The logic works like a chain reaction. You have the state of all the matter in the system at one moment. Because of the laws of physics, that state must lead to a specific change. A gear has to turn, a person has to move. This creates a brand new state of matter, which in turn must lead to the very next change. It's just one long, unbroken chain of cause and effect, like a trillion dominoes falling in perfect sequence.
And here is the absolutely crucial takeaway. In this system, there's no room for anything else. No free will, no agency, no intentions. Every single economic event that has ever happened or will ever happen is the unavoidable, fully determined result of the physical state that came right before it. You didn't choose to buy coffee this morning. A cascade of physical events made it inevitable.
This view can even reshape how we see something as complex as social class. In this framework, class isn't about how much money you have, it's about your physical address. It's your literal spatial position in the machine.
How close are you to the high-energy parts, like factories? Do you live in a physically durable structure? Are you located where the damaging stuff, like pollution, tends to build up? It's just your coordinates in the system.
So we have our giant deterministic machine. Now, let's see how it actually runs. What makes it grow, what causes it to break down, and what, if any, are its ultimate limits.
The machine doesn't run on theory. It runs on physics. And physics has hard limits. A process only keeps going as long as it doesn't break one of these physical thresholds. A bridge collapses when its structure is overloaded. A data center shuts down when it generates more heat than it can get rid of. A supply chain grinds to a halt when a highway is physically full of trucks. This isn't a metaphor. The economy can literally buckle, melt, and rust.
And that gives us a chillingly simple definition for collapse. It's not a panic on Wall Street. It's a physical chain reaction. One part fails, a bearing in a machine seizes up, a critical road washes out. Now, it can't provide the physical stuff needed by the next part of the system, so that part fails, and on it goes. The failure spreads through the system just like a crack spreading across a sheet of ice.
So what about the idea of creating a world of abundance? This framework says that's a fantasy. Scarcity is a permanent, built-in feature of any physical system. We talk about digital abundance, but that's still limited by the physical surface area of silicon chips and the waste heat they produce. We talk about a food surplus, but that food still takes up a finite amount of space and has to be moved down finite roads before it physically decays.
And this quote just drives the point home perfectly. You can't ever get rid of scarcity. You can only move it around. You might solve a bottleneck in one spot, but that just creates a new, different bottleneck somewhere else in the system. The fundamental limits are always there. A true post-scarcity economy is a physical impossibility.
Okay, let's zoom all the way out. After tearing it all down and putting it back together, what's the final picture? What does this whole physicalist universe actually look like?
It looks like one single, seamless process. There's no real line between digging ore from a mine, shaping it into a car, driving that car, and that car ending up in a junkyard. It's all one continuous field of matter changing its state, where the output of one step is the input for the next, all of it governed by the absolute, unbending laws of physics.
And this is probably the most profound and maybe unsettling conclusion of all. It means if you could rewind the universe back to a specific point in time and hit play, the exact same things would happen every single time. Every boom, every bust, every invention, every single purchase you ever made, all of it was already written in the physics of the moment before. Which, of course, leaves us with one final unavoidable question. If the entire economic system that structures our lives is just a giant deterministic physical machine, then what are we? Are we the ghosts in the machine, somehow pulling the levers? Or are we just another set of intricate, predictable physical parts? I'll leave you with that one to chew on. Thanks for watching.